to Impossible Coin. My name is Tegan Somerset, and when I'm doing the intro, you know that means Brian is off duty today. So send us your anime lewds. Somewhere in West Texas is our good friend Rocky Hardy.
Yeah, that's me.
I totally didn't forget your name for a second. It's cool.
It's cool. Like, I'm basically named after a cartoon dog. It's fine.
What?
And today, we also have a guest, Mr. Ben Rosenfeld, our eSports correspondent, coming in from Los Angeles, California.
Hello, Tegan. Hello, Rocky. Rocky, if you're named after a cartoon dog, you'll be glad to know that I was actually named after a pet cat. No, sorry, a pet rat.
A pet rat?
A pet rat, yeah. I found out only 2 weeks ago that my mom had a pet rat named Ben when she was little.
Okay. I think you lose this game then. I think I might win this game and you definitely lose this game, Ben. I'm sorry.
Wait, no, hold on. Counterpoint in favor of Ben. I am simply a cartoon dog while he is a pet rat, which guarantees that he has a home, and I'm probably like a vagrant, like Sonic the Hedgehog.
I see. Okay, that's fair. I was named after a Doctor Who character.
That's right.
I don't know if I think that's winning, Tegan.
Fair. I mean, yeah, fair. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But I was named after a Doctor Who character, which definitely lends to, like, the nerd cred, because that means I have a history of nerddom in my family.
That's true.
So, like, it makes sense that I would be on a podcast about video games.
That's fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so before we get into esports, I do want to talk about this one thing that I'm tentatively excited about.
Okay.
It turns out that the Resident Evil series is getting a movie reboot. Since Mila Jovovich has moved on from Resident Evil and now is trying to ruin another beloved Capcom franchise, Resident Evil gets a clean slate. The new film is supposed to be written and directed by Johannes Roberts of 47 Meters Down, and we've gotten some casting information. Kaya Scolodario is playing Claire Redfield. Hannah John Kamen of Ant-Man and the Wasp is playing Jill Valentine. Robbie Amell is playing Chris Redfield. Tom Hopper of the Umbrella Academy is cast as Albert Wesker, which I'm kind of excited about. Avon Jogia from Zombieland Double Tap is going to be Leon Kennedy. And Neil McDonough, I think that's how I say that? McDonough? Yeah. Is going to play virologist William Birkin. I have a quote from the director talking about his interest in the film. He says, "With this movie, I really wanted to go back to the original first two games and recreate the terrifying, visceral experience I had when I first played them, whilst at the same time telling a grounded human story about a small, dying American town that feels both relatable and relevant to today's audiences." Which sounds good. And, you know, since Hollywood has proven that they can make money off of big, flashy bullshit Resident Evil, and with the wrap on Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as well as the Star Wars sequel trilogy, nerds will be hungry for new nerd-servicing films. And as a fan of the Resident Evil series, I have a couple of questions about the characters and how they'll be portrayed. Will they be able to resist the urge to sexualize Jill Valentine?
No.
Will Jill Valentine be killed off in a Jill sandwich?
What does that mean?
We almost got a Jill sandwich in Resident Evil 3. Like that, like she almost gets crushed by like in a building. Okay. And it's all line they say like, it was like, "Oh, you were almost a Jill sandwich." Like, will we actually get the Jill sandwich? Who knows? And for Claire Redfield, how are they planning to strike a balance between number 2 video babe of 1998 and Gaming Globe's 2000 nominee for female lead character? I also want to know if Avon Jogia is himbo enough to play Leon Kennedy.
No.
And I also want to know of how much are we going to get of Amel yelling about the need to continue the Redfield bloodline?
Hopefully 0 of that.
But it's integral to the character, Ben. Like, it's definitely one of the
in that case, moves. I hope we get a lot of it. I've never played a Resident Evil game.
Okay, yeah. I think the way that they're gonna do it is it's gonna be a thing and everyone else is gonna, like, dismiss it, but it's gonna end up as being, like, a major plot point, and he's gonna be like, "I told you!" and he's gonna fucking die. That's what's gonna happen with that. Jill Valentine will be overly sexualized, and who's the other girl?
Claire Redfield. Claire
Redfield, she's just gonna be, like, she's gonna be a babe, but she's not going to be the sexual babe. She's not going to be the Daphne of this group.
Yeah, okay. I get that. I still want a big dumb Leon Kennedy. Like, I think I can't negotiate around that. Also, I really want to know who Ada Wong is. Because, like, the Redfield bloodline yelling doesn't work unless Ada Wong is part of the story. Because, like, the joke is that Leon ends up picking Ada Wong, but, like, Chris Redfield is like, you need to hook up with my sister because you got to continue the Redfield bloodline, which says nothing about why he can't continue the Redfield bloodline, but maybe that's a character struggle that he has. It's always been alluded to, but never explicitly explained.
Are you
Maybe
saying that they've been
gay.
alluding to the fact that he's infertile?
I'm interested.
Gay!
I'm interested.
Gay would be better.
Chris Redfield being either infertile or gay. Like, I think those are both compelling story arcs for that particular character. Because he's definitely married to the job. It's absolutely what happens in, like, the Resident Evil canon.
Maybe he just has no game at all.
I would
What if
love
he's
that. No,
ace?
that sounds fantastic. Like, I
mean, having no game would be fine, I think, as like a he doesn't have to be like anything. He just has to be dumb at that point. Dumb with no game.
Chris Redfield is the one true himbo. I'm actually interested. That sounds dope.
I mean,
Ada Wong will be played by Scarlett Johansson.
yeah.
No. No. Tegan. God damn it. Don't put that on the series. We just got rid of Mila Jovovich. I mean, Resident Evil did. She's definitely trying to ruin Monster Hunter now, but that's a whole other thing.
You know.
Because Brian's not here, I'll say it.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter deserves it. All right, I'm back.
What?
Sorry, Ben's back. That was Brian. Ben's back.
Brian just came in and like fucking possessed Ben.
Yeah, Ben's back. Sorry.
No. Man, Monster Hunter is cool, guys. All right, and like the movie is going to be a terrible example of all the things that are like uncool. Like the monster models look good, but like the story is like a train wreck, and like there are just so many like off details. Why are they in a Humvee? And like White
Imagine
Sands?
if they were puppets, though.
Wait, what?
Like, I know that monster models are good, but imagine if they had been puppets. Imagine if they had done Monster Hunter with all of the care that they put into the original Jurassic Park.
Yo, that would be fantastic. If we got real like Jurassic Park level animatronics,
yeah,
in like a Monster Hunter movie, I would sob openly in the theater.
Yeah.
If we got Jurassic Park level animatronics in a Monster Hunter movie, it would completely shift the video game movie franchise dynamic, and we would get the Super Smash Bros. Cinematic universe.
I kind of want that. I want that future a
Well,
little
too
bit.
bad. Too bad you got CG models. They're gonna look bad in half a year.
Oh my god. But like, see, the monster models are fine. Like, why is T.I. trying to look through the scope through a closed eye in the trailer? Why do they leave that in the trailer? Like, oh my god. It's just, you know, it's fine.
That's how you know the amount of care that's necessary for these movies to go well is not there. And that's how you know, is because they leave dumb shit like that in the movie.
Oh man. Okay, hold on. I want to talk about this one thing. There was one movie that was going to be terrible. Like but that was the joke. It was called Black Dynamite. It came out in 2009. You know, and it was like a parody blaxploitation film. The lead Black Dynamite, it was like a retired NFL player who I guess learned some measure of martial arts. And there was this thing that they did in the trailer where like it was an obvious cut where like a character's like giving some sort of speech to the protagonist, and he's just like, "We need you, Black Dynamite, now more than ever." And like there was like a pause and like an obvious like visual cut in it. And like I was like, okay, that looks dumb, but like I wonder what that speech is about. And I remember sitting down and watching the movie, and it was a continuous scene, which means they faked that goofy ass cut just to do the joke. It's just good enough that I can't actually be mad about it.
Huh.
But I am a little mad about it.
Sorry, I'm just processing that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it's still in the trailer. So like if you watch the Black Dynamite trailer today, you'll see that goofy ass cut. It's just not in the movie. Like it's one continuous scene, and he says it right after. Like it's not even like a pause or anything. I don't know why they did it. Oh man.
Wild.
But yeah, hopefully the new Resident Evil movie's good. I'm actually kind of excited for Tom Hopper playing Albert Wesker, because if you put him in that giant leather trench coat and give him the sunglasses, we're done. We don't have to do anything else to make him look like Wesker.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm in favor of good movies. I'm always hoping for good movies. But Rocky, you know this movie's going to be bad, right?
No, the new Resident Evil is going to be good. I swear.
Rocky, there's been one good video game movie made ever.
Mm-hmm.
Which was Detective Pikachu, just to be clear.
Yep.
And
Yep. Fair.
Before that, there was no good video game movie, and there will never be a good video game movie again, except for Detective Pikachu 2.
No, hold on. Okay, so like Sonic the Hedgehog was fine. It was actually fine. Like,
was it fine?
It's a solid 6 out of 10. Like, I sat down and watched it because it was important to me, and like I wanted to love it, and I couldn't love it, but I still liked it. You know, so like, you know, I'm not gonna hitch my wagon to Sonic the Hedgehog, but it's okay. And like, I have hopes for the new Super Mario project because like the studio that's working on it actually has an idea about like what Mario is, which is, you know, more than could be said for like the original 80s movie. And also Mario is too important to Nintendo as a brand to fuck it up now.
Yeah, okay, you're right. You are right about that.
You're beautifully optimistic, is what I would say to that.
I am. I'm just saying the Resident Evil movie has good bones. The cast is solid.
Yeah.
And there are enough ways to take liberties with the Resident Evil story and still hit the notes that it'll be fine. And they definitely, like, considering that they are doing this level of casting, they definitely have a budget to make a better movie. I mean, they may blow it all on explosions like Jovovich did, but, like, I don't think they have to. And I am being cautiously optimistic about the Resident Evil movie. I mean, I still think the Nintendo Cinematic Universe is a thing that's coming, and we just need to get ready for. But this Resident Evil movie might be pretty okay. Like a solid 7 out of 10.
Well,
all right. I'm willing to be optimistic for the Resident Evil movie, but I am not convinced that it's going to be great.
I think good thoughts for you, Rocky.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it.
I hope it is good, and I hope it is everything that Resident Evil deserves to be. I'm not convinced it will be, but I hope.
Raccoon City, y'all. Oh, that's not a word. Raccoon City?
Try
y'all?
that again.
Okay, let me do it. Raccoon City, y'all. That's better, right? That's real.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, then I'll edit around it. It'll be fixed in post.
No, don't fix it in post. Don't do it. Let it live. Let it live and breathe.
Okay, so guys, NA is all but completely gone from the League of Legends Worlds 2020. That's the name of the tournament. The only ones that are left are FlyQuest, which will almost certainly be eliminated by the time this show comes out. And I think I know how to fix North American League of Legends, at least at the competitive level.
Okay.
We need to destroy the North American League of Legends streaming market.
Okay, how is the streaming market harming the professional scene?
Hear me out.
Okay.
League of Legends is incredibly popular in the United States, right? Their players aren't particularly good when it comes to international play. We talked a little bit about it last week. You can just check the stats. It's totally there. And some of that can be attributed to how content creation and streaming is a large part of North American engagement with the game and how lucrative North America's market is for those content creators. The North American League of Legends pros happen to boast some of the highest salaries in professional League of Legends. The average league championship series player, which is the North American League, in 2020 was $410,000, which tripled from what it was 3 years ago, which is somewhere around $170K. And compared to like the Chinese league, which is openly dominant, the averages are closer to about $100K. There are higher ceilings in the Chinese league. Like that is absolutely true. But North America's high salaries are because that's the kind of money that's necessary to keep skilled players invested in professional play. Because if they were arguably any lower than that, some professional players would just forge it alone on Twitch. And a handful of players have already done it. And some of them have done so to great results. Like, I'm a Cutie Pie is probably the top semi-pro streamer. Like, he was Dignitas like season 1, so like 9 years ago. But he basically said, I don't need the pro scene. I'm just going to stream League of Legends and climb the NA leaderboards. And he's done that for about 9 years. And not only was successful at it, but forged a path for a lot of other players that were considering that kind of decision. There are other players like Voyboy, and most recently Cloud9 Sneaky has left professional play to pursue full-time streaming. So I think what we need to do is somehow destroy North America's interest in League of Legends streaming, and then we'd have better professional players. I don't know how we do that, but that's my proposal.
Okay. I hear where you're coming from. I'm not sure I totally agree with you, though. I think that, one, the allure of streaming is not what's driving up North American player salaries.
Okay.
I think it's the competition between the North American teams.
Right?
Like, the thing that's driving up the player salaries is that, like, when a team, like, buys in to the LCS or whatever, and they want to make a splash, they spend $2 million on a player like Huni, or $1 million on Impact, or, you know, or they try to buy up all the talent possible, like Team Liquid did 2 years ago, and that's what drives the salaries up. Because, like, and if we look at, like, Sneaky, like, he only left because he got sort of pushed out by Cloud9, right? They thought they could do better, and they did for a little while. And he sort of left the scene because he was feeling, like, disrespected more than he thought that, like, I mean, he also thought he could make just as much money streaming, which was true, but I don't know. Actually, you're maybe right. Maybe we still have Sneaky if there's no streaming scene. You're right about that. But I'm not convinced that, like, it lowers the salary average or anything like that.
Well, I think the salary average is a compelling point, but I think it's the idea that, like, content creation isn't always, like, entirely skill-based as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
In content creation, like League of Legends, there are people who definitely, like, just pursue high-level play and decide to never sign with a team. But there's also people who just straight up just kind of goof around and do, like, comedy bit stuff. And, like, they're able to make serious money doing League of Legends.
Yeah, there's only one Apto, and there's many, many Tyler ones.
Right. And so, like, that kind of, I guess, and I hate using it this way, but, like, that diversification of, like, endgame League of Legends content creation success may actually harm the NA competitive scene.
I buy that.
Yeah. Like, the salary cap is definitely one thing, but, like, I think there are, like, more than a few ways that North American content creation specifically doesn't contribute to, like, the elevation of talent in League of Legends. And while it is true there are, like, other pursuits, even within video games or eSports, that are worthy of, like, a player's time, if we want to slice it differently, like in China, like, China doesn't really have a lot of access to, like, console platforms. So, like, they probably wouldn't have a lot of interaction with stuff like fighting game pools or even, like, Fortnite. And, like, Fortnite gave away essentially, like, $100 million in, like, a world tournament. And, like, there just isn't Fortnite in China. It's just not there. It doesn't exist. They're still playing, what's that weird Chinese knockoff of PUBG called?
Oh, God, I don't remember.
I forgot what it was called, but I remember, like, the Chinese government required that, like, there's no blood and, like, people don't even die when you shoot them. They just kind of wave and leave. Maybe it's called Game of Peace? Like, I really can't remember.
Game 4 Piece.
Game 4 Piece. Thank you, Tegan. Jesus. So, like, there's also, like, a lack of, like, options for, like, esports players in places like China. South Korea is a little different. And, like, I think I could point to, like, their infrastructure, which is also a place where the United States is lacking, if not, like, the rest of North America. But, like, if we're being honest, North American representation in, like, the World's Tournament is basically American representation. So, I don't know.
I think, like, a good 20% of North American League of Legends players are Canadian.
That's fair. I'll accept that. But I'm trying to think of, like, specific, like, teams.
Oh, yeah, they're all U.S. teams because they're all based in L.A.
Yeah, that's fair.
What if instead of looking for the way we look for US talent being looking for streamers who do well, what if instead of doing that, we just hired people who are good at the game?
I guess that there has to be
not
some
streamers,
because
well, yeah, but like streamers also have that like personality pool that's what they're doing also. Like, I would not want to play on a team with, like, Ninja or something, you know? Because even though Streamer's got he's got that whole base, and obviously that means people are going to want to rep your merch because he's a familiar, like, face of familiar character. Like, that doesn't mean he's going to be the best player on that team, you know?
I think that definitely makes sense, but if I'm thinking about the process, and Ben, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's more that, like, whenever someone rises to, like, high ranks in Challenger, like the highest ranking in League of Legends, like, that list is public. Anyone can look at that list and like, oh, the number one person in NA right now is this player. And then you can go into their, like, match histories, like, oh, they play these types of champions, so they probably circle around this role. And I'm assuming that's where, like, professional League of Legends recruiting really happens.
So that's partially right, Rocky.
Okay.
My understanding is that professional League of Legends recruiting actually happens on the ladder in games.
Oh.
Pro players play with people they think are good and people they like playing with. And that is one of them is the way that people end up with tryouts on teams.
Oh, that's interesting.
Are you telling me that, like...
Yeah, so this from the stories I've heard, I've only heard a few stories about individual players, like how they ended up getting tryouts and things like that, but they were all like, we needed a new support, and, you know, our AD carry said they played with this player and this player and this player on the ladder, and they thought they were good, so we gave those 3 players tryouts.
That's actually really interesting, because that's like something between, like, multi-level marketing and, like, MMO recruitment.
Yep.
And maybe someone just needs to, like, moneyball, like, North American, like, recruitment. Like, they just, like, comb through the stats and then build a team and then, like, build that synergy over time. I thought that was kind of what was happening with Immortals, but I might be wrong.
And the other thing is there's, like, a draft now, like an official, like, LCS draft.
Okay.
There's, like, an amateur sort of tournament sponsored by the teams, I guess, where they take a bunch of the top players from the ladder who have never played on a professional team or haven't played a certain number of professional matches, and they bring them into something they call, like Challenger Battlegrounds or something.
Sure.
I'm mixing that up with something else, but they bring them into, like, a tournament. They split them up into teams that play each other, and then they do, like, a little draft. They draft like 15 or 10 players or something based on that, and that's the other way. But most of those players are already, like, you know, in the Challenger ecosystem and, you know, playing with the pros on the Challenger ladder. So I think that those kinds of personal interactions are really sort of a huge piece of recruitment for LCS teams. And I think you're right that that's probably not the most efficient way to do it, right?
Right.
Because whether or not you have a good impression of a particular league player depends entirely on the circumstances of the game you play with them. And, you know, presumably a pro can tell better than, you know, I could whether or not a player is good just by playing with them or looking at them or watching them play. But it's still, you know, still going to be a little bit harder or different than, like, looking at statistics and really determining, like, you know, is this person really consistently performing well or not?
Yeah, like, I think now that we're a decade into League of Legends, maybe someone taking a statistics-focused approach to recruitment may be a better idea. At least we should try that before blowing up North American League of Legends streaming.
Yeah. Here's another question, though. Is performance on the ladder a good indication of success in a professional League of Legends league? To a certain extent it is, right? You have to be in the top of the Challenger ladder to be successful, for sure. But after that, does it matter if you're the number 1 player or the number 10 player? Like, or are there other things going on?
Outright, I think going for the number 1 player every time seems risky at best. Because, I mean, it doesn't happen in professional sports either. Like, the guy that has, like, the most stats every year doesn't always translate into, like, the best number 1 draft pick. And, like, obviously, like, especially teams that have, like, a strategic, like, culture will want to find someone that feeds into the things that they need at the time rather than just taking the best person and holding them. Although Oklahoma definitely did that for college football for about 5 years, if not only to keep the best players from ending up on other teams, which honestly might happen with League of Legends at some point. Well, I guess Team Liquid tried it 2 years ago, but I don't know how well that really benefited them, honestly.
Since the league teams are so small relative to the player population, it's sort of impossible to just, like, eat all the best players, I think.
True. I think there are other metrics that need to be considered that Riot doesn't explicitly measure. And I think that requires, you know, more analytics, like the idea that there are things that are team focused that maybe Riot collects data on but doesn't directly surface to players or people who are looking at their profiles. So I do believe that like League of Legends like analytics still needs to evolve, especially stateside, but geez, I think I want to dig more into this so I can find out like what exactly is wrong with it.
It's a hard question,
Yeah.
I think, especially for North America. And the other part of the question goes back to the streaming scene, because what the streaming scene does to hurt, I think, the professional leagues more so than giving a safety net to players is that it just ruins the ladder. It wrecks it because you don't want to be in queue on your stream.
Mm-hmm.
So you play on a Smurf, so you're at a lower elo or lower MMR.
Right.
And then you end up with 10 counts in Challenger if you're a good player, right? And you also cannot be seen being uncool on stream. So can't try very hard because nobody thinks that looks super cool after a certain point.
I want to talk about that specifically because there's something happening with Call of Duty Warzone that's been getting on my nerves for weeks. And it's this whole conversation around skill-based matchmaking.
Oh my God.
And like,
I saw a little bit of that.
Like, oh man, like I follow Scrub Code, so like it's just on my feed every day. For the uninitiated, skill-based matchmaking is a very simple concept. Whenever you play a game and you do well, the algorithm pairs you against other players who are also doing well. And when you have a bad game, it tries to place you against players that the algorithm has decided is in your skill level. What that means specifically for streamers, especially of Call of Duty, is that they end up in increasingly difficult matches no matter where they're playing. There has been some talk, which sounds pretty reasonable, honestly, that they should have a mode where skill-based matchmaking is the norm, i.e. rank, where you can measure it or keep up with it on your own, and another that's like completely skill-based agnostic, which would be a casual mode. But in practice, that doesn't seem to make sense because pretty much every game mode in like any competitive scene, no matter what, has some measure of skill-based matchmaking. Like if you're doing well, it places you against better players. And if you're doing worse, it tries to dial it back for you. But what happens to streamers, people who are proficient at the game, aren't able to like pad their highlight reels by blowing up randos who are just sitting in a game. And so that cuts into the entertainment value of their stream, and it also makes it harder for them to show off. And they hate that. Call of Duty is such a widespread mainstream game, and it has an extremely huge casual audience where people who just kind of play to like blow off some steam. But if you blow off some steam and you happen to be good at the game tries to pair you against someone that's like playing around the level that you are. And if they're trying and you're not, you get blown up. And apparently people in the COD community have not made that peace with themselves that sometimes I lose especially if I'm not trying. And it's fucking stupid.
I have a question for these people.
Mm-hmm.
What about the game is it that you enjoy? Like, if you are just playing Call of Duty to, like, accurately shoot stuff and win every time, play a game where you're facing a computer. If you're playing Call of Duty to, like, be challenged and, like, have an interesting game where you're facing people who are using tactics you don't expect or have, high skill levels or are doing things that, you can't predict, then play against people who are just as good as you because it's not fun for anyone. Like, to do it another way, like nobody wants to play basketball against a kindergartner. Like,
no, some people do. They really do.
Those people are deranged, Rocky.
Yeah, they're monsters.
Anyone who enjoys that is insane. Like a sociopath, insane.
Oh, man.
What if instead I just want to play these games because I really want to play the most dangerous game, but the laws of my land will not allow me to?
Here's the deal, Tegan. That qualifies as sociopath insane for me.
I see. Okay.
Well,
that's
I mean,
fair.
I've definitely seen a couple videos of like players like C4ing themselves in protest. Like, this is what you do in response to skill-based matchmaking, and they throw a C4 on the wall and they kill themselves, so they drop their own MMR. So like, hopefully they get into a game where they can quote have more fun. And it's just like, Jesus, man. Like,
if people want to smurf, they can smurf, I guess. But Also, if you play casually and other people are trying hard, they're going to have a higher skill-based rating than you. If you care about your rating and you try hard, then you'll just go up and you'll be above the people who aren't trying as hard. And eventually, you'll end up in a situation where you win about half of your games, which is the intention of the like rating system anyway.
Right.
Like, if you go into a game and you're drunk or whatever, and you're not doing as well as usual, you'll probably lose. But it seems fine to me. It seems fine to me.
That sounds
I don't
reasonable.
understand the problem.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
But Ben, they're so mad, and it's just like it's so dumb. Like it's just like, guys, come on. Like, what are you trying to get out of this game? Why are you playing it?
It seems to me that anybody who's really mad at that wants to have fun at somebody else's expense, right? Like, if you really enjoy playing against people who are at a low skill level, what it means is you enjoy like powerful compared to someone else or whatever.
Right.
But even if there are people who enjoy that, there's no one who likes going into the game and just getting annihilated because you don't have the experience or the skills or the, reflexes or whatever to keep up with the people you're playing against. That's not fun for anyone. That's not a fun situation to go into.
I'm actually really interested into digging into if there are like people who play like Call of Duty with like a masochism kink. There has to be like one of them, but
I'm here to get my ass kicked and chew bubblegum, but I'm all out of bubblegum.
I mean, there's definitely not enough to like sustain like the Call of Duty player base, clearly, but like maybe some of them are out there. I have no idea.
Yeah, what we need is a special Call of Duty queue for the masochists and the pub stompers.
They just call it SM.
And we just mash those guys up, and everybody wins.
We just give them an SMQ, that's fine.
Yeah.
As long as they understand exactly what that means.
Yeah.
What would be really sad is people going into that queue thinking they're the pub stompers and then getting stomped on.
Oh, I love that. I'd watch that stream.
I want to see that, right?
That'd be great. I would like to see 200 hours of YouTube compilations of that exact thing.
That's I think is the core issue we're talking about, right? It's people who want to feel like they're good at the game, and the game is telling them that
they're not.
There's a lot of people who are just as good as them. I think it's that simple, right? It's about ego.
Right. And like that's why it's been showing up on scrub codes like specifically, because the problem isn't like some people are saying like the game is just queuing me against like pro players because I won a single game. And it's like it's more that like you're playing with people that can play on your level, and it turns out you can't actually play on your level. Like your internal like concept of how good you are doesn't match up with your skills. And you can either get better or take the L, and they don't want to do either.
I feel like we had this conversation 10 years ago when League of Legends came out.
I think we did, actually.
Didn't this already happen? I'm in pretty soon, I swear to God, there's going to be like 1 million people playing Call of Duty talking about Elo hell.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't wait.
And we just got to link them to like, 8-year-old Reddit posts talking about how that can't possibly exist.
We'll just link them. We'll just send them directly to this audio clip of us going, wait, didn't this already happen before?
Oh, man. But like low bronze was actually legitimately terrible. Like I do remember playing through that. It was not a good time. I mean, I didn't have a great connection, so there was also that, but it was just like I couldn't get anything done. It was a bad time, Ben. I don't want to go back.
I haven't played a ranked game of League of Legends in a long time because they're always bad. Every single one is bad. When you play unranked, it can actually be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But ranked League of Legends is a bad game, and no one should play it unless your only dream is to be a professional League of Legends player, in which case you've already guaranteed yourself that you're not going to have fun. So
if you don't have 5,000 champions and like 200 million hours in the game, you're just not going to have fun. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Unless you've got like a special interest, right? If you're a one trick and your special interest is the Scorpion champion, then like you can have fun.
There were some really interesting one tricks that I got to see over the years. Like there was the Shaco Jungle one trick that like got to Diamond, and that was really cool. And like there was this like Jungle Nunu. Well, like it was actually support Jungle Nunu that got to Diamond 1. But, like, they got repeatedly reported by their teammates because, like, they would leave bot lane to go jungle.
They would leave their bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was a weird situation. I remember that, too. insane to me that you could get to Diamond doing that.
Yeah.
Because if you're deliberately tilting your teammates, like at minute one, like how could you possibly consistently win? They must have been a god.
Well, yeah, like that was the thing. Like they had, and
they had to have been insanely good.
They posted their stats when they got permabanned, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, you secured 70% of all dragons for like a year? That's insane. And then like he got banned. I hope he came back and played his Bard or something, but like, Jesus.
Yeah. Rip.
Yeah. Okay. I do want to revisit something because Ben is here as our esports correspondent, and he had some important esport analysis for the sake of North American League of Legends that we didn't get to before.
Ooh. All right. What is it?
Yeah. So we've discussed already that North American League of Legends is terrible. They're bad at the game.
Right.
And there's no hope for them.
It's true.
So I had a different idea than crashing the streaming market. I think we can get around this a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to the way China did it, actually. If you remember in 2016, maybe 2017, 2016, I think, about 12 to 15 Korean pros moved to China to create full-fledged League of Legends teams.
Actually, I remember that, yeah. I think it was 16.
The Great Korean Exodus. And after that, Chinese League of Legends still wasn't very good compared to Korean League of Legends. But now they've won multiple world championships in a row. You can't do that now because we've got these import rules. And the way to get around the import rules is to get citizenship for these players. That's one of the things that makes you a non-imported player. You can only have 2 imported players on a League of Legends team now due to Riot's decision making, and also this is the fallout of the choice of all those Korean players to move to China to get big bucks and change the scene. Anyway, one of us needs to marry Faker. That's the bottom line. We got to get Korean pros, the top Korean pros, into the US with citizenship or a green card so they can join teams in greater numbers than we had before and change the professional culture here.
You know what? That's easier than what I was doing. I'm down. I think what we can do, because like as we previously established, League of Legends players earn 6-figure incomes.
Yep.
And so like what we do, since they're in LA anyways, we just like pick out a couple like struggling actors / models and then pair them up with like Korean esport pros and then just bring them stateside.
Oh man.
No!
I didn't even consider that. That's amazing. You've completed my plan.
Dude, it's so easy. We're already done.
Listen, Rocky, I came here ready to sell Faker to you personally. I was going to say, Rocky.
Oh, I would do it.
Faker's a catch. He's a catch. He's handsome. He's rich. He's great at League of Legends. He's humble. You know, he's the full package. But we can just hire someone else to do it too. And LA is filled with people who would jump at the chance to marry Faker and get him on TSM.
Like, that's all we have to do. Like, it's not that huge of a leap, but I do want on the record, if it was to save North American esports, I would marry Faker. I would do it.
Yeah, I would also. Faker's at least cute, so there's that.
But also, we totally don't have to. Because, like, it wouldn't even be hard, I don't think. Like, I think we wouldn't, like, show the pictures, like, hey, we have a new professional that's moving into the country. He's a friend of mine. He's set to make a 6-figure income, and maybe just go out with him. And then, like, after, like, the first date, it's like, yeah, so it turns out he needs a green card to stay in the country. And there's enough people we could have that conversation with. Like, I think we could easily end up with a 40% success rate whenever we do that. And, like, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Right. We also have to sell it the other direction. We got to get them to want to come to the U.S. and marry LA-based struggling models.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're fine.
I think we can figure it out. I think, or you know what we do? I have a better idea. Okay, so the first couple people are trial ones to see if we get them in. But when we try to mass produce the strategy, what we do is that we marry it to the reality television market.
Oh, like, so we do like 90 Day Fiancé, but also they're a League of Legends professional?
Right.
Incredible. We're already out here, people are already out here creating really great reality-based content from their League of Legends teams. If we combine that with, Married at First Sight type of reality TV, we could bring it to a truly large Middle American audience, as opposed to just the
Right.
nerds.
And then like either way, no matter how the marriage plays out, like it either sticks and then we can put like the model struggling actresses into like a spin-off show into like the wives of like esport players or whatever. Or they spin off into like their own lifestyle brand thing because now they've been surfaced in like the esport crowd. Like I think we can do this. This doesn't seem like a huge leap. This is a better idea than what I had. Thank you, Ben.
This is, sounds remarkably doable. Actually, I'm kind of shocked. I think fundamentally what the North American League of Legends needs is some level of professional infrastructure.
True.
Because right now it's just players, former players, and then money.
Man.
There's no fundamentally like league savvy management level. And it just like totally prevents good training, it seems like.
So what if instead what we do is we send American coaches over to Korea to learn how to properly manage a League of Legends team and then bring them back?
So we've sort of tried that. There are plenty of Americans and, other English speaking folks who have worked in Korea in various capacities and then come back and try to like manage or coach or play on League of Legends teams in North America, and they've all done not super well. The earliest was probably Monte Cristo, who coached. He was one of the first North American League of Legends coaches. He coached CLG, and they sucked. That's unfair. They were one of the better teams in North America at the time. They never did anything on the world stage, and they didn't succeed even like with an LCS championship until after Monte Cristo left. And then, but there are players who have done that, and it hasn't been super successful. There's been some success with that sort of strategy in StarCraft. A few like North American and European players moved to Korea, set up team houses there, like independent team houses there, and have like, made it to like a respectable level in that scene. But it took them years and years and years and years. And also a lot of help from Blizzard in terms of like taking money out of the Korean scene and putting it other places. So I don't think just going there is enough. I think we need to bring it to LA.
There's also like one thing that I just don't have context for is like the team house like strategy. I do think that like LCS's issue is with infrastructure, and while there are a couple like formats that we could follow, like with the NBA, NFL that kind of co-opt government intervention, if not like primary and secondary school development, or like the MLB where like they basically like starve their like minor league but like crazily pay like their major league so that people always want to get to the top, but they don't risk a lot by like feeding like teams until like there's actual talent to be had. I hope that they develop something else. Ultimately, I hope there's a new form of like sports that comes about. But this team house thing, I've seen with a bunch of stuff, especially that plays out in the internet space, things like dating back to like Smash Brawl. I think there was a team house for it that I think was the first one that I saw. But like YouTubers and influencers also do the same thing. And like, I don't know where that came from. I don't know what like structure like the team house thing is parodying.
I don't have facts on this or history, but I do have an idea.
Okay.
I think fundamentally the team house like setup comes from the fact that so many professional gamers are children. And they can't really live on their own.
Right.
And they're making too much money to want to live with their parents. And like there's they need to be focused. They can't have like the general tasks of living life around them in order like and still be like successful because they're kids. Right. And then this situation ends up sort of stunting their growth, of course, but it's like temporarily efficient, right? You take someone and you take every distraction away and they're a child so they can like focus on a video game forever. And then you just point them in the direction you want and they just do it because there's nothing else to do.
Right.
And so you get like really high volume practice out of them that way. And it's a situation that couldn't really exist if they're living on their own, especially again, as like a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old. And then also, early eSports teams weren't super well funded. They weren't paying everyone super well the way they do
That's
now.
true.
So they need to pool resources in order to like get everyone on the same page, right? If they didn't want to have like a full-time job, they still need a place to live. So if we get everyone together, we can save some money. We're all paying for the same internet, and we can spend more of our time, working on the thing we want to be working on, right? So I think it was efficient early on, and then it was efficient for like focusing the children that they were recruiting. And now I think it's kind of outdated. I suspect that like adult League of Legends players would perform a lot better if they got to live on their own and then go into an office or a training center or whatever, similar to like an NFL player.
Right. Yeah, like just that kind of sequestering instead of like, practicing 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
That like work-life balance sort of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. In North America, there are some teams that are in team houses. Like 100 Thieves are in a team house, I think, right now. And then there are teams that are experimenting with having like performance centers and players living on their own. I think TSM is a good example of that. And I think over time, the performance center office situation is going to become the popular choice. Although I think COVID threw everything for a loop too.
True. Like, everything's kind of on hold for at least a year or so.
Yeah. There was a huge mess in the North American finals, I think, because one of the players, the FlyQuest, one of the teams in the finals was, they had their players playing from home instead of like coming into an office to play.
Mm-hmm.
One of them lost internet. The match was delayed for like 2 or 3 hours while they tried to get him to somewhere with internet. Truly fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, but also they are currently America's last hope. So
they are America's last hope.
See,
I look forward to 2 a.m. tomorrow when the hope will be gone. And we can start worrying about which Korean team we like the best. Or if TES is going to win everything,
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, we've got all the European teams are accounted for. We've got 2 going into the quarterfinals. We've got a Chinese team and a Korean team probably coming out of Group D because it's unlikely that we're going to see FlyQuest beat them. Beautiful. So yeah, hopefully we'll lose EU soon because they can't be too far ahead of us.
Oh man, like what is? Well, I don't want to. I have never dug into EU. I got to do my own research before I embarrass myself on this podcast.
I mean, we've embarrassed ourselves on our podcast without doing any research before. Why bother now? Just go for it.
Go for it.
Like, why is EU better than us? What are they doing?
I mean, they have free universal health care.
Jesus.
College is more affordable. Like, they're in a better mental state to start playing video games. So that the stress of losing doesn't make them go, I'm gonna absolutely go fucking bankrupt if I don't fucking finish this goddamn game. Like, I mean, that's just one of the things, probably. Less stress at that point. Age of drinking is lower.
Age of drinking is lower in Europe.
I'm not convinced that EU has very many structural advantages over the US.
Okay.
But EU has like 2.5 times the number of players on their server than North America.
Oh.
Yeah. So they have just a much larger talent pool. In fact,
okay.
We're talking a lot about like NA infrastructure and the streaming market and stuff, but one of the biggest issues with, finding great North American League of Legends players is that there are just fewer League of Legends players here, The very, very best in North America, when we were talking about, I say this after they just went 0-6, but we're talking about like someone like Doublelift. He could go play in China and be a starter. He could be a starter on a Korean team for sure. He got offers to do that 5 years ago, 6 years ago, right? But there's just, for every one Doublelift, there's like 3 players like that in China and 2 players like that in EU and 2 players like that in Korea, just statistically.
So the problem is that there's just too many games in like the US. Like we have like essentially like the soccer problem, like in the US, like, women's soccer is still really good, but like men's soccer is just like because the boys are playing other stuff. Right.
They've all been seduced by football. The siren. Yeah, there we go.
The siren's call of football.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, ooh, come play this game. We'll destroy your brain. Ooh. It's true for League of Legends. That's actually the same song. Come play this game. We'll destroy your brain. But I don't know if it's just like we have too many games to play or just League was never like made it to the top because we play too many. Yeah, I guess it's, we play so many shooters and stuff, right? There's a lot of consoles, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely different competitive scenes that like have North American presences that would cut into like the pool that would be playing League of Legends otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And frankly, like North America is much better at a lot of other games, right? Mm-hmm. Like there are great North American teams in Counter-Strike, for instance. But, and so like all of that is very much an argument against the fact that there's some like fundamental problem with North America in terms of esports.
Yeah, that's fair. I wonder if League of Legends ends up being like the soccer of esports. I guess that could be fine. I mean, I still think it was probably going to be Rainbow Six Siege, unless like, you know, they go the Eurovision route, but you know, we'll see what happens when we get there.
I think the other like thing that's going on is North America has the yips. Like we've got a mental issue now. There's like this huge like culture in North America around like going to Worlds and losing. Like,
yeah,
I think there fundamentally needs to be like some sort of shift in attitude or something. I don't know did you watch any of the games from this morning, Rocky?
I haven't watched this morning's game. So
okay. If you look at TSM in their elimination match against Fnatic, they pick like this, you know, this team composition that they should be able to succeed with. They've got their jungler on his, you know, best character. They've got all the tools to like make a big impact early game, and then they just did shit. They didn't do anything. They avoided every fight, even when they had advantages. And they totally abdicated any control they should have had over the map because they picked a team comp that like should have done this. And it just was like a very sad sight. Like they picked into a strategy that they have played well before, right? And then they just decided not to do it because it seemed like it was scary, right? They were like, didn't want to be the person to lose. I can't tell you like what was actually going on in their heads, but that's kind of what it looked like. It looked like they were expecting something to go wrong, and then it did.
Yeah, Liquid had a game like that last week.
Yeah, and I think that that's part of it. I think they will. You know, one other thing North America really needs is to get a team of players who are really like stupid enough not to worry about that sort of thing.
Yeah,
like too many thinkers right now on the world stage.
Damn, let's build a NA team that's just 4 himbos and like 1 mastermind. Tegan, tell us about Genshin Impact.
It's good.
Sick.
Hey, like, remember when Breath of the Wild came out and all I could play was Breath of the Wild and all I talked about for like a month and a half was Breath of the Wild? Get ready for that with Genshin Impact. Well, get ready for that with Genshin Impact.
Do I actually have to play this game? Do I have to add it to my list, Tegan?
No, you don't have to add it to your list, but you should play this game because it's actually fun.
Okay. For sure.
It's fun! It's not something that I'm gonna be like, we have to talk about this for Game of the Year, because we're gonna end up with a Fire Emblem situation all over again, where I'm like, but this character's good, and this character's good, and this character's good, and this character's good.
I still don't think we were wrong. I think Brian just got unreasonably upset. I want that on the record, but what?
I think he was upset because there were so many Fire Emblem characters, but the problem is, Fire Emblem characters are good. Send tweet.
Yeah. Wait, so Tegan, is this game as good as Breath of the Wild, or is it like similar to Breath of the Wild?
Genshin Impact looks like Breath of the Wild and feels like Breath of the Wild, but has better designs. Sorry. Ugh.
Better.
They're
Wild
beautiful.
Design is really good,
yes,
though.
but these are beautiful anime characters. It's not Link's ass I'm staring at, and that's okay. There are handsome anime men's ass I could be staring at, or cute anime girl ass I could be staring at. Your choice.
What a beautiful world.
What a wonderful world.
What a time to be alive.
You make a team of 4 characters. 3 of them are just given to you via story that are very useful characters. Like, one of them is your character, and it turns out your character gets wind magic at the beginning, because you start off in the wind place. The gods are the god of Anemo, which for some reason means wind, but whatever. It's got like Breath of the Wild vibes and Wind Waker vibes without the sailing, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, the aesthetic of the game is definitely Breath of the Wild. It's beautiful. Everything moves well. You can climb everything as long as you have enough stamina. Like, it's fine. You get a glider so you can jump off of stuff and not die immediately, which is great. Some of the characters give you bonuses to gliding. So, like, one of the characters who you get as part of the story, she's, like, the gliding champion or whatever. That's what she says she is anyway. And she makes it so that you don't deplete as much stamina when you glide. So you can glide longer! Hey!
For sure.
It's nice.
It's really
cool.
the Breath of the Wild dream. You can glide longer.
You can glide longer, yeah.
The whole time you're playing that game, you're like, I wish I could glide longer.
I wish I could glide a little bit longer. Yeah, nope, you can do it. You can do it.
Just a little longer.
And the more you level your characters up, or the more you level the god statues up, and you level them up by collecting these little spheres called Animospheres, because the god of Animo is like the god of wind or whatever. You collect the spheres and you take them back to the god statue, and you offer them up as worship, and you increase every time the statue levels up, you increase how much stamina you have, so you can increase how much longer you can run and how much longer you can glide naturally. And then as long as you have the gliding girl in your party, all your characters can glide longer. Because they have more stamina when they glide. They don't, lose as much stamina while they glide. It's great!
It's good QOL.
It's good. And they're doing some, there's gonna be an update November 11th. So, in a month, that's gonna give some more quality of life updates. I haven't read over the, specifics of what's coming out, because it's not coming out for another month, so I don't really care that much.
Sure.
Because that's life. But I really like it. I've got 2 teams of 4 characters each, so I have 8 characters total. I do have my first 5-star. You do have to pull, there is a gacha element. The gacha element is, how you get extra special weapons and characters, additional characters that aren't gifted to you during the story. You automatically get, your character, who is either a boy or a girl. You can pick. Either way, they're very cute. You get a fire archer girl. You get a wizard, a witch, a wizard, a mage. You get a magic using electric girl, and you get a ice swordsman automatically just by doing the story. Then the game is here are enough crystals and a discount gacha pool for your first 2 gachas. So you can do 2 gachas right away. Easy peasy. I got 4 other characters by doing the 2 gachas. I got a water sword boy. I got the idle water healer girl, who's one of the featured girls. I got the guaranteed character who's a berserk. She has a big sword, a 2-hander sword, and swings it really slowly, that kind of character. Mm-hmm. And she's got the rock the Geo specialty, and I got a 5-star electric sword girl, who's very, cute, very cute. Nice. Very cute. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Right now there's also, at least at time of recording, there's an event where if you are adventure rank 20, which is your overall rank as a player, you can do the event to get a spear-wielding fire girl, who I've just met as part of the, plots of the story, who is very cute. And she's also in, the trial pool. They also do trial pools for different characters, so you can try some of them out before you try pulling for them. So, right now there's different electric mage girl in it who does, dark electricity. I don't know how to explain it. She's, she's definitely, a Yohane type, if you know what I'm talking about. You've seen Love Live. You know who Yohane is. She's a Sun, but she's a Chunibyo Sun. Am I saying more words that don't make sense? Okay, no, hold on. I've read the word Chunibyo before, but I'm spacing on what it actually means. It's middle school syndrome. It's that thing where you're I am a lord of darkness, and the dark energy in my arm is making me use... It's that thing. You mean Bakugo, or yeah, Bakugo! Or that one kid from Fire Emblem Awakening. Exactly like that one kid from Fire Emblem Awakening. Yes, perfect. It's that kind of energy. For sure. But she, like, literally at one point, if you're using her skills, transforms into a raven and, like, flies across the stage, so...
Maybe she is a Dark Lord or whatever.
Right, well, but also everything that her wings, like, touch while she's flying across, she can only go in a straight line, but if you go, like, through a crowd of enemies, everyone she touches with her wings gets zapped with electric power, so, like, she's the only valid Chunibyo. Because she has actual powers, I guess? I don't know. And then they're letting you try out the water healer girl and a guy named Venti, who is maybe a god? I don't know. He's a bard in the game. I've met him in the game as, like, part of the plot for, like, the area that I'm in. And we had to steal a harp, and then we didn't steal the harp, and then we did steal the harp. We failed at stealing the harp the first time for plot reasons. But apparently he's, like, a very compelling character, and a bunch of people have been, like, just dumping money into this game to try and pull him. So there's that. But his design is very cool, and he's a wind archer user person, so... And he does also help with the gliding. He lets you glide farther also, but I think also higher when you jump. He gives you, like, a boost when you jump. So... interesting. I don't know. He's interesting. I'm not, like, I haven't felt the need to, like, dump money into the game yet. Plus, right now there are logon events going on, and you can earn the things that you use to convert into the gacha currency. Like, everything. You finish a quest, you get some. You open chests, you get some. So it's and during, like, the initial phase, they're doing, where they give you some, like, every day or whatever. And I've got enough money that I could do a bunch of pulls, and I just don't feel like I have to. So that's neat.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, you know how sometimes, like, you play a game, and you feel like a gacha game, and you feel like you have to pull, like, Love Live or whatever, where they're in, like, it's the same 9 girls, but they're in special costumes, so you need it. It does not feel like that. It does not feel like that at all, which is very nice. What are your questions? It's fun.
First,
yes, recommend.
Is this an MMO, or is this, like, a single-player-oriented experience?
It is a single-player-oriented experience. However, beginning at Adventure Rank 16, which is your level as a player, not contingent on the levels of your characters. Mm-hmm. At Adventure Rank 16, you can start to have access then to group dungeons, where you go in with your team of 4, and a friend of yours can go in with their team of 4. So you have a team of 8 people total to do a dungeon.
Okay.
Or 8 people beginning. I don't know if it's limited to only, like, you and one friend, or if it's multiple people. No, but, like, running around in the overworld, it is just you doing the story.
That explains some of the questions that I had. So, like, one of the things that I was thinking about is that, especially since gacha is, like, a component of the game, is that if you'd end up into, like, Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy VII multi-party combat scenarios, and, like, you'd have to, like, maintain multiple parties at a higher level, but instead, it seems that, like, you'll just be able to do that with other people, but instead of controlling one person, you're controlling 4 as a unit.
You control one person at a time.
Okay.
So they aren't units. They're one character you can switch between. Only one person is out on the field at any one time.
Oh, okay. So, like, the other 3 are kind of, like, on... Oh, this is
standby.
Yeah, I was going to say a Rolodex, but that's better.
Yeah, kind of like a Rolodex, yeah. They're, like, in the background. It's like switching Pokemon out. But also, like, some of the things you can equip to characters can help out with that imbalance. So, like, I have the Water Mage Healing Girl, who's part of, like, the raid-up gacha or whatever. But even if I didn't have her, some of the items that drop in the overworld allow you to get healing from doing different stuff. Like, my mage is equipped with something that heals her whenever she triggers a magic combo. So if I have someone out who does one type of magic and then I switch her in and zap somebody, she gets healed. I have another character who gets healed every time I pick up an item with her out. So if I open a chest and all those items that come out of the chest, they heal her when she picks them up. So there's ways around it very easily. And there's a whole cooking, like, thing where you have to cook. Different dishes have a different, like, difficulty level for cooking. And you have to cook a dish a certain amount of times before you can just automatically cook it.
For sure. Does difficulty just like manage the numbers, or there are like mechanics that you also get to like interact with?
There is like a start and stop thing. That's the
Okay.
only thing I've seen where like you have to stop it in like the little perfect spot, you know?
Right.
But other than that, I haven't seen too much as far as like complex cooking. I also don't yet have like a bunch of difficult recipes.
For sure.
And recipes are found like they're found in the wild, or like if you pick up an ingredient, someone will be like, if someone sees it in your inventory, like an NPC, they can tell you about a recipe. Eventually you can purchase recipes from restaurants and that sort of thing.
I like the idea of like people noticing, it's like, oh, hey, like you have a ginger root in your inventory. You can make a pretty good soup with that. I mean, you probably can't make a soup with ginger root, but like, that's the idea.
Yeah, it's basically that sort of thing.
I would prefer, instead of buying recipes from like restaurants, which I guess that's something that they could do, I would like for it to be some sort of like, I guess like Octopath Traveler type of thing, where like you could buy the recipes, or you could steal them, or like, or you could like negotiate for them. That could be cool. But maybe that's a mechanic that could be introduced later.
I mean, that could be something that they introduce in like a different area. Right now I've only seen 2 areas. There's a god for each element in the game. I am in the Anemo god's territory. The Anemo god is the wind god, basically. The next city over, country over, I guess, is Gruul, commanded by the Geo god. And so, like, their area, like, that's their thing. So I'll have to, once I get over there, I'll have to level up the Geo statues to get the same benefits that I do from the Anemo statues. And I have to do that by collecting little Geo they're not spheres, they're all angular, I don't know, things.
I'm still not over the fact that their god is called Anemo. Like, that's too much.
Yeah, the god of wind is the Anemo god. Also, there's a dragon I have to fight, and the dragon looks fucking badass.
Sick.
We're working on that. But it turns out also your main character, and I found this out because I went over to the other place is called Liyue? I don't know. It's not China, and also not Korea. And this is a Chinese company doing that, so it's probably more not China, but whatever. They have... When I went and I saw my first, like, Geo statue, you have a little companion. Her name is Paimon, which is not a Digimon, which I was very disappointed about. She's kind of annoying. If you are annoyed by small characters with very high-pitched voices, you'll be annoyed by Paimon. Paimon also speaks in the third person about Paimon, so, like, you know, there's that too. And you cannot turn her off. She is there all the time. She's in all of the story missions because she does the talking for the main character, which is you. But she lets you know that you, the main character person, have the ability to switch your elemental affinity. So I landed in the wind world, or the wind country, and so I got wind powers. But when I went over to Liyue, she was like, oh, if you make an offering to the rock god, you'll gain the ability to use rock powers instead of wind powers. So that's cool. It's neat that, like, theoretically you could switch out your main character for whatever element you're missing on a team.
I do like that.
Without having to pull for a different character. It's very neat. It's very nice. Also, you're looking for your twin. So, like, if you picked the girl avatar, you're looking for the boy. If you pick the boy avatar, you're looking for a girl. Some, like, witch or wizard from, like, whatever plane of existence you fucking came from has kind of kidnapped them in the middle of a fight you guys were having.
That's just Astral Chain.
Yeah, it's just Astral Chain.
God damn it.
But, like, with Rin and Len instead of, like...
Asuka and whatever your protags was named.
Yeah, exactly. Asuka and protag.
Oh, man.
It's fun. It's definitely... I'm having a lot of fun.
For sure. I'll give it a whirl.
Sounds like a good time.
It's a good time. I do also appreciate the fact that I have run into the gacha thing, and it hasn't been like, spend all your money, spend it right now, like, you know?
True.
Like, there's definitely, you can buy packs, and they go from, like, $2 to $99. They offer that thing that's like $5 for a month, and every day that you log in during that month, you get a certain number of, like, gems or whatever, so you can more easily stockpile for special guys you want, because it comes from China, all the rate up stuff is available. Like, that information of, like, your percentage chance of getting them is available in the, like, gacha thing. You just have to click on details and you can see exactly what's in that pool and what's your percentage chance of getting it. So, that's also nice.
That's right.
Looking at you, fake Grand Order.
Fucking, if I remember correctly, I think there is, like, a specific, like, Chinese law that tells them that they have to, like, surface, like,
yeah,
loot box odds.
They do have to surface loot box odds. So, that was neat. I don't know, I appreciated it. And also, I don't feel like I have to. You know, I'm happy with the characters I have. There's different quests that give you, like, friendship affinity and stuff. And that can be used to, like, make your combos with that character and another character better. So if, like, one of them puts one kind of magic on them and then another one swaps in, like, they do bonus damage or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that kind of stuff, too. And there's ways to level up. I haven't gotten into, like, the power leveling system yet because I haven't figured out how to unlock it, but each character has a constellation they're associated with. And when you unlock different parts of the constellation, it seems like you can swap out spells. So,
like, is the constellation, like, working kind of like a sphere grid?
Yeah, kind of like a sphere grid.
Okay. No, that's cool. I just think there should be more sphere grids generally.
Well, I haven't figured out how it works 100%, so... Because I haven't been able to unlock anything, I don't have enough, dust. Stardust. I need to put stardust in the constellation to open the stars up. That's what it is.
It's weird. Don't they already have stardust in them? Isn't that where they come from?
Yeah, right, you'd think, but who knows? I don't know, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's still fun. I'm still enjoying it a lot. I gotta log in and do my dailies. There are dailies also.
Dailies. Jeez.
Yeah, but, like, the dailies are, like, there's 4 of them. They give you a ton of, like, adventure rank XP, more so than, like, character rank XP. So that if you're, like, adventure rank blocked from doing a certain level, or a certain, like, expanding the map or whatever, it's easier to level that up, which is nice.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff they do to make it feel less grindy than what it would otherwise be.
I'm gonna mess with that. That's what I'm gonna do.
Please mess with it.
And see what it's about.
I hope you like it as much as I have enjoyed it. It's been fun.
So I'm still working on my list. I'm gonna make time for Genshin Impact. It won't be urgent.
Yeah, it's not urgent. I don't think it's going to be part of the Game of the Year conversations or anything.
Right.
But it is something that I would be interested in watching for games as a service sort of deal.
Damn. Okay. Then I'm gonna make time for it in November. That's what
we don't even have, like, categories this year. It's wild.
Yeah, but, like, I have a list. Like, there are things I gotta do. Actually, Tegan, you are also playing one of the other biggest games of the year currently.
I am playing one of the other biggest games of the year currently. Haha. I played more Among Us. I played it with different friends than last time. Also, Rocky, I do have a message from Gata. Mm-hmm. He said, Rocky was in the chat. Why didn't he say anything? So,
he read
there
my
you go.
Name, but he pronounced it wrong because, like, you know, it's not intuitive.
Yeah, well, he was mad that you didn't make yourself known, that it was you in the chat. So.
That's fair.
And I say mad, but it's like quote unquote mad. It's that fake mad.
Yeah.
Mad.
It's okay. I'll catch up with Gato. We're chill. It's totally cool.
So yeah, I played with some other characters, and I had 2 really great I just called these people characters. I played with cosplay friends, but not cosplay friends I particularly get to see a lot.
Sure.
The person who invited me, her name is Sen. She's gonna be starting streaming soon, but hasn't quite gotten into it. She just got, like, her Reagan stuff, so there's that. But she invited me to this group with some Love Live cosplayers that we know. And I had 2 really great rounds as Impostor. Because I ended up Impostor twice in a row with the same dude as my co-impostor. And we won both times and it was fun.
Nice.
It was just like, there's no way the game would do that to us again. And then it did it to us again. I was like, are you kidding?
Did you get them with the oxygen kill, or?
No, I did. So the first thing I did was, as soon as the thing came up, someone was doing a med bay scan in the, like, the second map, not the first map, the second map that has the Y hallway. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna stand here and watch you do your med bay scan. JK! And I ran in and I shanked him, and then I jumped in the vent.
Oh no.
And someone saw me jump in the vent, and they were like, I saw green, go in the vent. And there were 2 of us that were green. And I was like, well, it wasn't me. I was at the back of the pack with Eve. And they were like, yeah, green was with me. And I was like, so it must be the other green. And it wasn't the other green. It was me.
Yeah, no, rip them.
Haha. After that, we kept, like, running around. And at one point, we both went down and we're like, oh, I'm gonna do the, like, satellite thing. And then someone else came down and I walked over, killed him, jumped in the vent, and they just left. It was super good. And then, we killed everybody without them realizing it was us, which was cool. And then the next game, we were it again. And literally at one point, he had killed someone in the admin room. And they saw him try to vent out of there. And so she was running because, like, he went in the vent and then he came right back out of the vent. And she didn't know how long the cooldown was. So she started running to the button. And I passed her in the hallway. And I was like, oh, that's weird. I'm just gonna... And I killed her on her way to the button so she couldn't report it. And then I jumped into a vent and ran away.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then we were like, well, I was coming down from oxygen to do the lights. I don't know anything about that. And then on the way to reactor, 2 people passed in front of us and there was 1 person in between us. And then it was us 2 at the end. And he killed the person in the doorway. He's like, somebody on their way to reactor killed this man. And I was like, and we were like, who was in front of us? And it was these 2 other people. And they were like, do you think we're noob enough to do this? And I was like, I don't know. Both of us just walked up on this body, and you 2 are the ones in front of us. So either you're both imposters and you're trying to cover for each other, or you walked past a body on the way to reactor and didn't report it. And we won again, because then we got a double kill right afterwards.
Oh my god.
I'm bad at being imposter, but it's really fun. The first time I'm imposter, I always panic, because I'm like, I have to commit a murder. And I don't know how to do it.
So the truth is, you can't let Tegan get comfortable as an imposter.
Yeah, you really can't, because then I start quick killing people and jumping in vents to get away. But I'm also learning where sensors are and where cameras are, and so, like, I'm pretty good at avoiding them, just saying.
Tegan's gonna figure out the meta. Like, I'm just saying, watch out.
I'm gonna figure it out, and one day I will be the ultimate imposter. Because I play with the Halo, and the Halo keeps you from being imposter for so many, like, rounds.
Is that real, or is that like a desire sensor type of thing?
I don't know, because the one time I played with it, I was literally a crewmate for 15 rounds before I got imposter, and then last time when I played, which was with a smaller group, like a considerably smaller group, I was imposter 5 times in a, like, bum, almost right in a row.
Dang. We gotta...
who knows?
Like, jump on the AMA for, like, Among Us or whatever and find out.
Please, does it help? Because I think it does, but I'm not positive.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't have a lot of news this week, but I think we should do news. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, that
Let's
sounds
do the
right.
news. Give us the news.
Okay, so Amazon Game Studios has officially canceled Crucible. You may remember Crucible as Amazon Game Studios' foray into Battle Royale type shooters that came out in May and then unreleased by Amazon Game Studios in the following months. And it has come to our attention recently that it has been canceled. This represents a struggling start for Amazon Game Studios, who, based on an article provided by Cecilia D'Anastasio, is attempting to win the video game industry. Amazon Game Studios is trying to essentially conquer the video game industry like they've conquered other industries in the past, but they're having trouble with the video game industry. Their strategy is a little misguided. They do have basically all the money, and their goal is to put out a $1 billion game on their first try.
No.
Sounds like that's not going to work.
No, right? They have 3 different strategies currently, or 3 different games that show their strategy. One was Crucible, which is supposed to be their entry into the shooter genre. And then they have New World, which was originally designed to be like a open world survivor horror game that has science fiction elements, but is now more in the vein of an MMO. And their third game, I think it's called Breakpoint, which is sort of like an eSports streaming focused game that plays out on large arenas. Think like Overwatch meets Rocket League is probably the best way to explain that.
I love the idea of an esports streaming focused game as if like that's what people think about when they buy or play games.
Right. That's the idea, that like they're essentially trying to like work on the product as opposed to like create like a video game experience organically. And their process is entirely top down. Like they want their survival horror game to showcase the limits of their cloud computing service, where you'll end up in gigantic arenas with 10,000 players. And they also want to showcase like large sprawling arenas with like immersive like betting experiences. So like they'll basically run their own casino with, I guess, real world currency or whatever while like their esports event is going on. And none of it really sounds fun. Apparently Crucible was okay, but it wasn't a $1 billion game, so they pulled it back.
This is so dumb. Amazon has all the tools they need to take over the video game industry. They already have like half of it on their servers anyway. People, when they make games, they put them on AWS. Like, they own the back end of like all the video games already.
Right. They're trying to go full first party, but like I don't think they understand video games. And like the big problem is that like there's no sanity check. Like there's no one at Amazon Game Studios who's willing to sit in front of Jeff Bezos and say, hey, I understand that having 10,000 players on a single arena is a huge technical achievement, but it doesn't sound fun at all. Like no one's doing that. They continue to spend this crazy amount of money, and like they've done some things that cost a lot big money. Like buying Twitch was a big one. Twitch, when they bought it, was nearly $1 billion, and it's still their one shining video game success. But a lot of that has to do with the team that was already at Twitch that has been resisting Amazon's impulses, especially their goal of trying to separate Twitch as like a streaming platform from like their actual gaming marketplace. And so that Twitch, people that interact on Twitch aren't treated like customers, but like people who are sharing an experience with like the people who are producing content. But like, jeez, like there's just so much goofy shit that's been going on. Like when they were preparing like their huge like esports focused game, they had like a particular character that they wanted to use, and they immediately ordered like 10,000 miniatures for like E3 2015 to like hand out to like get the character like in the public consciousness. And then 2 years later, they have to rework the character anyways. And so like these miniatures that they didn't end up handing out or selling are essentially worthless, I guess, outside of their historical value. And they wanted to like have their own in-house engine, even though when developers tend to start out, what they try to do is they build a game with a unique concept on an existing third-party engine like Unreal or whatever. And then once they put it out, they hope it does well. And if it does, then they start the work of building a team for a AAA game. Amazon just says, well, we have all the money right now. Let's just start poaching people and just tell them to make this crazy game. That's like computationally insane or whatever. That's a real quote.
They would be far better off just like getting into, creating a video game marketplace like Steam or Epic and getting in that way. Because then their like massive resources could actually be put to use instead of having to actually do something creative and make something fun.
Right. And I think like the biggest problem is that somewhere like the executives at like Amazon Game Studios have seemed to oversimplify their concept of creativity in video games, and they think they can do like product first. And that seems to have been their strategy for at least like the past 5 years. And it hasn't worked out for them, and it's cost a lot of money, but they don't seem to show any real like signs of stopping. And maybe Breakpoint, when it eventually comes out, like, will work. And New World does look technically impressive, but it doesn't look like the type of game that I really want to play. Like, if I wanted to play another MMO, I'd probably just go back to Final Fantasy XIV or give Black Desert a try. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to play out, but it doesn't look good.
It does not look good.
You know, there were ways to do this correct, and they didn't. They just chose not to. Like, Amazon's a bajillion-dollar company, and they were just like, nah. What if we didn't do the thing that works for everybody else? Fuck it. Whatever, man.
It feels like if they talked to anyone with any experience in video games at all, they would know that their strategy was a poor one.
Right, honestly, but no, we gotta be cool, and we got $1 to lose, so who cares?
Who cares? Ah, man. I mean, there is a possibility that if Sony doesn't get their shit together,
no!
Tegan, imagine 5 years from now, we see a bidding war between Facebook and Amazon for Sony PlayStation.
I hate that. That's Sony, get your shit together. I hate that. That's the worst universe. Stop that. Stop that right now. We're not putting that out there. You already put it out there. It's too late. Fuck. Why did you do this? Why did you curse us so?
No, it's like what'll probably end up happening. You know, it'd be really funny if like Amazon like forces a hostile takeover of the Intellivision Amico.
Oh my god.
Or like if they buy something wacky, like they buy the Playdate, and they just like decide to make it like some crazy like HD 720p like cell phone type of thing, but like they keep all the devs in like the team and they just put them to work forever. All of these ideas sound terrible. I'm just spitting out terrible ideas because it's funny to me now.
Please, no, we don't need.
Christ.
We are in the most cursed year, 2020. We do not need more cursed ideas. They'll just happen. Why? We just opened a 2,500-year-old fucking mummy sarcophagus that's never been opened before and unleashed the undead horrors. Why would you give the universe more ideas, Rocky?
Okay, so now, I've been thinking about watching a Brendan Fraser movie again, and I'm not sure if I want to sit down and watch The Mummy or Blast from the Past. The Mummy is extremely good, but also Blast from the Past is just, like, amazing. And Alicia Silverstone's in it for some reason. Whatever. They think he's Jesus because he lived in a bunker for 35 years. Guys, watch Blast from the Past. Maybe we'll watch it. Who knows? My brain's not working anymore. Someone else talk.
I'll talk. Niantic's doing a good thing.
Okay.
Maybe. Niantic is officially starting up their small business initiative. Yay!
Alright.
Oh, and this is like in a direct response to the big one, COVID-19.
True.
They said, quote, "To help revitalize local communities, we decided to leverage our game platform with a goal of adding 1,000 small businesses globally as sponsored locations for the next year for free."
Wow.
Yeah, this is specifically designed to spotlight some of, like, your most beloved local businesses in your area so that players around the world know that it exists. And it's supposed to help aid in the recovery of these businesses from the pandemic. Which is great, honestly, because mostly Niantic's been doing this with, like, Sprint or GameStop or Starbucks, you know, like big name companies. And now they're offering it for free to small businesses.
True.
And then they have a whole page for sponsored location businesses. It's in early access beta right now to what are considered small and medium-sized businesses in the US. But basically, you're going to get a Pokestop. And with that Pokestop, like, you can date the image on it to something that, like, really showcases your business, and it'll drive Pokemon Go players. And with a lot of Pokemon Go players playing in their cars right now and stuff, like, to really, like, get some foot traffic, that's the potential for a bunch of new Pokestops in your area and new places that you might not have been aware of before. And these places are obviously chill because they're like, oh yeah, Pokemon Go's fine here. So, you know.
Right, they signed up themselves.
Yeah, it's not just gonna be like art and landmarks anymore. It's gonna be like, you know, a neat hole-in-the-wall hero place or something.
Tegan, I have an idea.
Yeah. I have lots of ideas. What's yours?
So,
is it a cursed idea? Wait, is it a cursed idea?
it's not a cursed idea. It's not a cursed idea. I'm over it. Cursed ideas are behind me.
Okay.
This is a whole new Rocky.
If we play this right, we may have a second chance at the beautiful utopian Pokemon Go-centric future.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we can do, if this thing works out, specifically the small business initiative via Niantic plus Pokemon Go, which obviously is going to require a lot of community support to be viable, may lend itself to the kind of Pokemon Go-centric tourism. But now, like, instead of going on Yelp when you drop into a new place, Pokemon Go lets you know which stops to check out.
Oh,
which, like, would highlight things.
neat. Okay, and you can maybe you can, like, filter them by, like, these places do EX raids, these places regularly have, like, several players playing during a raid or whatever.
Right.
Like, you can organize them by, like, most visited to least visited, so if you want to go somewhere off the beaten path, you can just, like, go to the least visited spots or whatever.
Right. And, like, it obviously would take, like, some community focus, but, like, people could put together things like urban hiking trails that, like, take you, like, through a museum, through, like, a, like, well-known or trusted restaurant, and, like, other, like, sights and sounds of, like, cities and stuff.
Oh, that'd be cool. And obviously they would all be, like, walking... a majority of these places should be, like, walker-friendly locations, you know?
Right, exactly.
That would be
And,
neat. I'd be down for that.
But, like, that's definitely, like, a large-scale, long-term type of thing. But if we play it right, I think we can use Pokemon Go to make the world a better place again. Especially since, like, travel, like, both international and domestic, has taken a hit because of the global pandemic, may actually get some sort of bump from, like, this kind of, like, Pokemon Go-assisted tourism.
Visit your local tourist trap.
Right.
No one else is going to be there. It's all going to be local people. Dude, that sounds good. I like this.
That could be dope. See, told you, not cursed.
Yeah, no,
not
that's
cursed.
a good idea. I like that idea.
Rocky,
Put that one
you've
out in the
grown
world.
a lot since the Amazon segment. Good job.
Thank you.
You've grown a lot since literally 2 minutes ago. But I like this idea. And I think one of the ways they could do it easily is if they delete the space that they were using for all those Pokemon alerts, or Pokemon stops and gyms in graveyards, and just reallocate those spots to the local business group. I think that'd be great.
I'd be interested in that, actually. Yeah, because, like...
I'd like some neat hiking trail stuff, you know? I live right at the entrance to, like, a state park, and, like, only one of the spots in there, they have those plaques that, like, tell you something about it. Only one of those is a Pokemon stop, and I feel like I could get a lot more people walking down that trail, just regular nerds walking down that trail, if I could add more stops along it, too.
Like, imagine if, like, okay, so this is something that Niantic would have to do specifically, but imagine, like, in spaces, like, say, a state park, where they mark, like, high foot traffic places, but instead of just using, like, Pokestops and Pokegyms as, like, a particular interactable, like, if they had, like, NPC, like, trainer battles. And, like, imagine if you went on a hiking trail and, like, when you got to, like, the top of the mountain or whatever, and, like, you had a face-off against, like, a branded character, kind of like in Pokemon Gold, where you climb Mount Silver, and, like, you find Red, like, just, like, staring off in the distance on, like, the cliffside.
Oh, that'd be wild. Red would actually be on Everest, though. You can't tell me he'd be... maybe he'd be on Fuji, but, like, he'd be at the top of, like, a fucking hard mountain.
Right.
Get all these nerds in real shape. Make us climb a mountain.
I'm telling you, it could be great. Do you know how many nerds would climb fucking Fuji just to fight Red? Just to fight Red.
This one would. I'd climb Fuji. I can't breathe on top of Fuji, and I'd climb it. I'd find a way. Nature would find a way.
See, this is the type of shit that I think augmented reality should be able to do. They've done a bit of it where they have, like, Team Rocket taking over Pokestops and you fight shadow Pokemon, but, like, if they were, like, flat out just, like, spaces, and maybe, like, the accuracy gets messy because, like, it's harder to pinpoint, like, an open space versus, like, a particular landmark. But, like, if they were, like, littered with, like, NPCs and stuff, like, there's just, like, there's the tower where you fight, like, Schoolboy Joey or whatever, and like you meet like cool trainers or whatever, or like Poke fans outside of like a comic book shop or something. That could be fucking cool. Just saying.
That could be fucking cool.
Niantic, just give it a shot. Niantic doesn't listen to this podcast. Maybe they will.
Niantic doesn't listen to this podcast, but they should. We got the ideas to help revitalize our own local economies and also bring more people into nature.
Right.
Also, we need to up our cell tower coverage, but like that's not a problem for Niantic. That's a problem for somebody else.
God, I hope Niantic gets big enough to buy something like T-Mobile or whatever. Wait, no, T-Mobile's merging with Sprint.
Yeah,
Damn.
that already happened.
Okay, T-Mobile's merging with Sprint. Verizon is way too big. AT&T has Apple money, so that's fuck you money.
What if they got like SoftBank?
I'd be interested in that.
The dog could play Pokemon Go. The SoftBank dog. Aww, I like that. And you could have Pokemon-themed phones? Yes.
There's gonna be a Uniqlo crossover.
Fucking hell. I just want my phone to look like a Pokedex. I just want my phone to look like a Pokedex. Also, why don't any of the new Pokedex have pop sockets on them?
Yeah, that's weird. I don't like that.
That seems like a modern innovation at this point that needs to be featured in the Pokemon anime. Nintendo, get on it. Anyway.
Okay, so we didn't actually have a lot of stories this week.
We didn't!
Ben, do you have a story?
Do I have a story? No, I don't. I don't have any news.
Okay, that's cool. You're a guest. I wasn't going to put that on you, but I wasn't going to stop you.
No worries.
So I don't think we should do Steam without Brian here. I feel like that's uncool somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it's his thing.
It is his thing.
But also, it's his birthday. If you made it this far.
Oh, yeah.
It's Brian's birthday. Literally posting day? We post on Thursdays now, right?
No, we post on Wednesdays still.
We post on Wednesdays or Thursdays. So if you are listening to this and it is on or around October 15th, it is Brian's birthday. Happy birthday, Brian! That's what he's doing this time.
Yeah, shout him out on Facebook.
Yeah.
Or on Send Me Fake Gods on Twitter.
He asked us if he could have the weekend off for his birthday to watch a bunch of cool wrestling stuff. I'm sure he's going to tell us all about it next week, Brian. You don't listen to the podcast, Brian, but here I am asking to hear about wrestling, Brian. So make sure you tell me about wrestling next week, Brian. I hope you have a happy birthday, Brian.
I'm going to pretend that Tegan never mentioned this next week just to see if Brian listens to the episode, but I know he won't. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's okay.
You guys don't know.
When he tries to go to news without talking about wrestling next week, I'm going to be like, Brian, did you listen to the episode? You didn't tell us. You didn't tell us about the wrestling, Brian. You were tweeting about it all weekend and I have no idea what the context is. You gotta tell me.
That'll be our first 4-hour show in like 3 years. Like, bet.
Can't wait. Excited. The next 4-hour show will be when Breath of the Wild 2 gets announced officially and I am overanalyzing the trailer live.
Oh my god. Fun fact, when Breath of the Wild came out, we did like a 2.5-hour show anyway. And then we spent another 1.5 hours just talking about Breath of the Wild that we separated into a different show.
That's insane.
Yeah, man. But it felt important at the time. It felt like the right thing to do. I haven't listened to it in a while, so I'm not sure how I'd re-edit it, but that's what happened.
Listen, Breath of the Wild is that important.
It was that
That's
important.
not what I meant by that's insane.
Yeah.
That game is something special, yeah.
Oh, man. Breath of the Wild 2. And then Hyrule Warriors. Tegan, I'm not going to play Hyrule Warriors, I think. Unless I have time in December.
That's okay. I'll play Hyrule Warriors for you.
For sure. Okay. So, if there's no other pressing business, everyone, this has been our show. It's called Impossible Coin. We do it every week. You can find us wherever podcasts are found. iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Tegan, can you hit the thing for me?
Fuck SoundCloud. Fuck them.
Speaking of SoundCloud, there's music at the beginning and end of this podcast. It's produced by our friend Big Soch. He's our kid brother of the show. You can find him on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Big Soch NJ, and maybe drop him a line on Twitter at Hillary_Swank. Our logo is also a t-shirt. It was designed by Lauren Moran. You can find her on Twitter at Lauren Moran, and consider donating to her Patreon. She does the good business. And speaking of Patreon, we have one of those too. It's at patreon.com/Impossible Coin Podcast. Once again, I know it probably should be /Impossible Coin. And trust me, that makes sense to me probably more than anyone else on this planet. And all I can tell you is that we're still working on it, and we will let you know when there's progress on that front. But if you want to talk to us directly about Patreon or otherwise, you can find us on social media. Brian's usually on Facebook, possibly moving to Instagram. I'm on Twitter. Tegan's on Tumblr. It's all Impossible Coin, no underscores or dashes or anything weird like that. If you see one of those, let us know and they will be dealt with. But that's us. That's the show. I want to thank Ben Rosenfeld for joining us here today as our esports correspondent. Hopefully we'll have him back someday soon.
Yes.
Thanks, Rocky. I had a great time.
Hey.
I hope so. You're stuck now. We've named you esports correspondent. You are trapped. You are part of the Impossible Coin universe. Sphere? Canon? I don't know.
I'm watching all the esports anyway, so I gotta talk about it with someone.
Nice.
Hey.
All right.
Tegan, you had the 3, so you have to...
Oh, yeah, I do. Dang it. So I gotta... it's so weird without Brian here. Okay, I'm just gonna be like, bye.
I say later.
Peace.
You said peace.